Do you feel guilt about your pet's passing? Maybe you're questioning if you made the right decisions, wondering if you acted too soon or if you waited too long. Perhaps you weren't there when they passed, or things didn't go the way that you had hoped for. Guilt has a way of keeping us stuck and preventing us from finding peace and moving forward. Hi, I'm Tami, and today I want to share some insights and some tools and perspectives to help you release guilt, heal, and reconnect with the love your pet has for you. I know these feelings well, not just from my work as an animal communicator and medium, but from my own personal experiences with the animals in my life. Over the years, I've worked with many clients who wrestle with guilt after losing their pets. They replay decisions, argue with how things happened, and they hold on to regret. But the truth is, these feelings can be transformed. Let's start by understanding why guilt is so common. For many of us, our pets are family. We're their protectors, their advocates, and their caregivers. We naturally want them to be helped, and we want to do our best for them. When they pass, it's natural to question if we did enough. Did we make the right choices? Did we give them the peaceful passing they deserved? It helps to remember that we each do our part, and we can't control all aspects of a situation. Making peace with their death and what happened to them can be tough, almost impossible, you might say. I hear you, because losing them is tough enough, much less being upset over about how and when it happened. We may never get over losing them on a holiday, or when we were away traveling, or that we couldn't save them. Some of the most common sources of guilt include not being there when your pet passed, struggling with the timing of euthanasia, wondering if it was too soon or too late. I've done both of those. Experiencing unforeseen complications where things didn't go as planned. Second-guessing decisions about treatments or letting go. These feelings are understandable, but they can keep us stuck if we don't address them. If there's one thing I've learned from my work as an animal communicator and the many animals in my life, is our pets in spirit don't hold on to judgment, blame, or regret. In fact, they don't blame at all. We do. Their love for you is unconditional. Animals are master teachers, teaching us through the life situations, including their death. They see the bigger picture. They see the love and the care that you gave them throughout their life. And even if things didn't unfold perfectly, here's what I often hear from pets in spirit. You did the best you could. I felt your love in every decision you made for me. It was my time to go. And I don't want you to carry this pain. Thank you for letting me know that I mattered. They know your intentions came from love, even if the outcome wasn't what you hoped for. You know, we're never ready. Let's dive into some of the most common guilt scenarios that we may torture ourselves with, and let's reframe them with a more compassionate perspective. So if you weren't physically present when your pet passed, remember that their connection to you goes far beyond the physical. Pets participate on a soul level, choosing the time to leave, and sometimes that happens when we're not there. I've had this happen many times, but the animals have taught me that timing and exit points are all opportunities for our souls to grow. It just feels like kind of the hard way. No matter what way they pass, I'm going to promise you no being dies alone. They're always met by loved ones, guides, angels, friends. In fact, when a soul is getting ready to pass, there's a gathering ahead of time, sort of the spirit reception committee. I have a dog who recently passed. Zoe was 19 years old and the last of a trio of friends, Murphy, Katie, and then little Zoe. Several weeks before she made her transition, I felt both Katie and Murphy's energy coming closer and closer. And a couple of days before They came to me in a dream and told me they would watch over her. I know there was a soul friend gathering. So even if you weren't physically by their side when they passed, I want to promise you they still felt your love and connection. Tell you another story. I had a basset hound named Annie once, and she had been terribly abused by the time she came to me. She had just had 5 puppies and only one survived. She was emaciated and exhausted. And I sensed that she had had other puppies in her life, and you could feel Annie's mother sadness. It was so deep. Her heart hurt so much. She was only with me for 3 years before she developed mammary cancer, and she was doing well on medicine. One evening, she refused to take it. Early that next morning, I had a dream, and in the dream, she looked at me rather matter-of-factly and said, "I'll be leaving soon." I asked her where she was going, and she said, "I'll be going away on a trip." She wanted to thank me for helping her and her puppies. She also thanked me for helping her know what it was like to be a mother. Oh, that day when I checked on her in the afternoon, she was in her favorite spot outside, and she had passed. And I wasn't there when she went. I just remember seeing her, and I sat with her just to be. Now, I understand we don't always get a heads up when things like this happen, but I wanted to share this particular story with you so you know that the animals do have a sense of their own passing. Annie chose to go in her own way, and it was up to me to respect that, even though my heart hurt. Okay, another slippery slope for guilt is when it comes to euthanasia. The idea of timing is one of the hardest things to reconcile. Acting too soon comes from a desire to save them pain, while waiting too long comes from a deep love and a reluctance to let them go. Both are acts of love. It's because we love them that we want to do what's best for them. From our perspective, there is no perfect time, right? From their perspective, they have complete trust in you to do what you felt was best. If their passing was unexpected or it didn't unfold peacefully, it's extra tough. But it's also important to remember that life is imperfect and often does not go according to script. If we disagree with it, what we're doing is actually comparing an idealized version of their passing of how we think it should have gone. I've done that many times. The reality is they passed the way they passed. A lot of times we frame it with a guilt story as we argue with that reality. What matters most to your pet is the love you shared throughout their life with you. A single moment does not define your entire bond, nor do they want us to focus in that way. So let's talk about how to release some of this guilt and transform it into healing. First, try reframing the regret or self-blame into gratitude. Write down the regrets or blame you feel one by one. For example, I wish I had been there when you passed, or I should have been there when you passed. Anytime you catch yourself in should have, stop right there. That is guilt knocking at your door. Our should haves keep us stuck in pain and suffering. And if you should have, you would have been able to. Stick with what is true, what actually happened. Then rewrite each regret/blame as a statement of gratitude, finding things you were there for, such as, I'm so thankful for the times we shared and the love we shared. Or, I'm grateful for the many moments I had with you. Or, I'm grateful for the time and fill in the blank with a specific experience that you remember. Or, I'm grateful for the times I was there for you. Because there were many. Each statement shifts the energy of the original feeling that was stuck. The rewrite also shifts the mind away from hyper-focusing what didn't happen or a story of what should have happened. Next is to use affirmations to forgive yourself. Repeat affirmations like, I forgive myself because I acted with love and did the best I could. My pet's love for me is unconditional. I release this guilt and honor the joy we shared. Finally, visualize their love. I'm all about dropping into your heart space. Close your eyes, drop into your heart space, and just imagine them looking at you with full of love. It shouldn't be hard to access. Picture them saying, I love you, I always have, and I always will. Let that love fill your heart and expand more and more and replace the guilt with peace. One of the most beautiful things about our pets in spirit is their ability to send us messages of reassurance through our hearts. They may also visit you in dreams, send signs like feathers or favorite toys that fall out of a closet. I've had that happen. Or create little synchronicities that remind you of them. When you notice these signs, take a moment to acknowledge and thank them. It's their way of saying, hey, I'm still here. See me? Feel me? I want you to heal. Ask for their help with healing your heart. They will. Finally, let's talk about moving forward. Instead of focusing on the pain of their passing, focus and celebrate the joy of their life. Honor their memory by creating a scrapbook or a memorial or an altar. Sharing funny or heartwarming stories about them with loved ones. They love hearing stories about themselves. Or write them a thank you letter to saying, I'm so grateful for everything you brought into my life. Your pet's greatest gift to you is their love. Let that love guide you toward healing and connection, for it still lives in you. If this video touched your heart, please like, share, and subscribe. I'd also love to hear your stories in the comments, whether it's about guilt, healing, or the ways that your pet has touched your life. Remember, your pet doesn't want you to carry guilt. They want you to carry the loves and the memory of the time you shared. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time with more messages from the animals.